Hey, it's the Empire, Geobox Empire, back to boxing. Now, man, wild stuff, man. My boy Gervanta Tank Davis, man. You guys see the IG post, man. My boy Gervanta Tank Davis posted a trailer of him training, and in the trailer, his trainer is seen having gunpowder in his hand, right? And Gervanta Tank Davis is seen eating the gunpowder, right? Wild stuff, man. You know, Gervonta, his nickname is the Tank, and Gervonta Tank Davis is taking his name to the extreme, man. Now, Gervonta Tank Davis is going to be fighting Rolando Romero. He's a WBA mandatory right now for Gervonta Tank Davis's or for a mandatory for the WBA super title, right? A lot of people are talking about Gervonta Tank Davis needs to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? But understand that Gervonta Tank Davis, this is a necessary fight to become mandatory for whoever wins the Devin Haney versus George Gamboa's fight. Now, Rolando Romero, man, you know, this fight is happening May 28th, happening next month, 2022, and this is going to be fireworks, man. Rolando Romero has been training under the Mayweather gym for years, and so has Gervonta Tank Davis. So this is going to be an in-house fight. They're both undefeated, man. Rolando Romero has 14 wins and 12 knockouts, man. He's a hard hitter, young kid, 26 years old, and understand that Gervonta Tank Davis is actually giving him the age advantage. You know, Gervonta Tank Davis is 27 years old, and he's fighting someone younger than him. There's something about two young fighters fighting each other. They're undefeated with nothing to lose. That just brings out the best in both the fighters. Now, a lot of people sleep on Rolando Romero because he doesn't have the quote-unquote, you know, star power that Gervonta Tank Davis has, right? But understand that Rolando Romero went up to 140 his last fight to knock out Anthony Yiggett, right? He went up to 140 and knocked the guy out, and Anthony Yiggett, who is a 140 fighter, right? There's not any fighters that I know of outside Davis, top fighters. We're talking about Teofimo Lopez, George Gamboa's, who last fight went up to 140 to stop a 140 fighter. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. I can keep naming top fighters that went up to a weight class to stop a guy as a contender for fun. You know, Rolando Romero is doing things that fighters typically don't do. You know, this is the equivalent of having like Jared Boots Ennis going to 154 and stopping an elite fighter at 154, right? Like a Arizona Lower if he was still there, or like a Jarrett Hurd just going up there and just stop guys just cause, right? Or a top contender. You know, there's a lot of top fighters at 147. That's the glamour division. Now, you know, that being said, man, you know, understand that Rolando Romero has everything to lose in this fight. So does Gervonta Tank Davis, but this is his first showcasing fight. Usually what happens is Gervonta Tank Davis, he's such a star that if you just put on a decent show against Gervonta Tank Davis, you become a star. Look at Isaac Pitbull Cruz, right? Isaac Pitbull Cruz put on a pretty good performance and won a couple rounds in that Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Now people are talking about him. He's a big deal now. And I actually think him versus Isaac Cruz versus someone like a Ryan Garcia would be a really big fight. In my opinion, you know, Isaac has the style to give Isaac Cruz has a style to give Ryan Garcia trouble because he's an inside fighter. He's short and he knows how to get underneath your jab. So that would be a really good fight for Ryan Garcia if he would ever take it. You know, understand that Isaac Cruz is the number one ranked in Mexico, and I believe he still is the number one ranked in Mexico ahead of Ryan Garcia. So, you know, that being said, man, Gervonta Tank Davis is a superstar in the sport of boxing. He's gonna be fighting in New York in a Barclays Center. It's gonna sell out, man. Let's keep it a buck. Gervonta has been on a run selling things out, right? He fought in the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, sold out, right? He's been fighting everywhere, man. He's been fighting all around America, right? Understand that there's only a few boxers that really sell at big arenas, and that's people who've been fighting pay-per-view for a long while, like a Canelo Alvarez. You know, I think Errol Spence does too, but he stays in Texas and does it. You know, I don't know, maybe he did sell in Vegas, but I know for sure Gervonta Tank Davis, his star power has ballooned ever since he's signed with Floyd Mayweather. Now, all that being said, man, him and Mayweather having been at odds for a little bit, and we don't know if he's gonna stay with Floyd or not. But there's a lot of detractors out there trying to make Gervonta Tank Davis leave Floyd Money Mayweather, and I think that's to Gervonta Tank Davis' detriment. That'd be a really bad move. Just the spotlight of Floyd Mayweather is so massive, it would pitch more shine on Gervonta Tank Davis, and it makes him more known. There's a lot of fighters out here who are big stars, but they don't have the right people around him to really give him that demographic audience, right? Now, Floyd Mayweather, his fan base may be international, but let's be honest, his fan base is mostly Black Americans, right? That's what made Gervonta Tank Davis boom in places like, where he's born at, right? And that being Baltimore, Maryland, right? I mean, you put him in, Baltimore, there's a lot of Black people living there. So anyway, man, all that being said, we're going to see what happens with Gervonta Tank Davis and Floyd Money Mayweather, but nevertheless, he's still part of it, this promotion, and we see where he moves there. It's going to be big bags going to be thrown at Davis to get him to go to another promotion company. Now, I understand that, who knows, he could have a fight-by-fight basis with Floyd and this be fluid in his promotion, like Devin the Dream Haney. How he wasn't, it seemed like I thought he was signed with Eddie Hearn. Apparently, it was a fight-by-fight basis, but he was able to go to the Zone and make that deal with the Zone in top rank, and make that deal with George Gambosis and Vasily Lomachenko, right? 3-fight deal, right, to become undisputed, right? And there was no contractual obligation to stay with Eddie Hearn. So, Devin Haney is doing it the right way. He has Devin Haney Promotions, or whatever it's called. He has his own promotion company, and that was really the smart move to do. A lot of that's being done in the sport of boxing today, and that's for the betterment of the sport of boxing, But all that being said, man, Gervonta Tank Davis, he's 1 or 2 steps away from being fighting for these belts. There's no reason really for him to leave Mayweather, just because what I said earlier, right? He's already fighting for the mandatory spot for a WBA super title. So that means within a year and a half, he's going to have to fight Devin Haney unless Haney vacates those titles. So it's going to be really big stuff, man. I'm really excited to see everything that's unfolding right now, but it's really big news. If I were Gervonta Tank Davis, man, I'd go on a diet, man, go back down to 130, fight Shakur Stevenson. Shakur, he's going to be fighting Oscar Valdez, and I don't see Oscar Valdez doing anything that Shakur Stevenson can't handle. Too long, too rangy, knows how to use distance too well, and Shakur Stevens is a elite level fighter for sure. Better than I thought. He completely, all the step up fights, he should completely dominate the fight, man. Completely dominated the fight. Wasn't even close. So I'm excited to see the young kid keep proving himself. The kid's young. He's not that old. He's only 24 years old, right? And he's southpaw. Extremely dangerous. Not too many of those in boxing. But that fight with Jamel Herring, that technical knockout was shocking. Jamel Herring just stopped Carl Frampton as well. So that right before he lost to Stevenson by knockout, he stopped Carl Frampton by a knockout, 6th round. Right? Carl Frampton is like one of the most decorated fighters in his country, in the history of his country, right? So, because he's Irish. I understand that, 130, 135, those divisions are synonymous. We know what time it is, man. A lot of these fighters come up in weight, i.e. Gervonta Tank Davis. He came from 130, and then he went to 135, and he's a star. Same thing can happen with Shakur Stevenson, Herring, a lot of big fighters at 130. When they come up to 135, man, that division will be the new 147 division. So, man, a lot of stuff's happening right now. A lot of moving parts, and you can never put your finger on it in the sport of boxing. Everyone's a bum until you lose to him, right? They thought the same thing about George Gambosis too when he fought Teofimo Lopez. Everyone thought Lopez was gonna walk through him, right? And look what happened, right? Same thing with Teofimo Lopez. Everyone was doubting him when he fought Lomachenko, but look what happened. So you can never underestimate these fighters in sport boxing. I don't like people, talking down on a fighter that's undefeated and who has a really good resume, and who hasn't been dropped, who hasn't looked exposed, So people need to give Rolly his credit. But Tank's looking ready, man. Eating gunpowder, man, and he's living up to his name. Anyway, let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Peace.